Hey everyone, John Blankensop here, and welcome to another Big Q University Knowledge Nugget. In this edition, we're going to explore the last of 7 Big Q quality management fundamental principles we call relationship management. I hope you find this knowledge nugget insightful and informative. Let's begin by setting the stage for this Big Q quality management fundamental principle called relationship management. What relationship are we talking about? Well, we're talking about relationships with interested parties. An interested party is a stakeholder, a person or an organization that can be affected by, or perceive itself to be affected by a decision or activity. Interested parties can include customers, owners, employees, external providers, regulators, bankers, and unions. Now, the theory behind this fundamental principle is that interested parties influence the performance of an organization. Therefore, organizations that manage their relationships with all relevant interested parties are more likely to achieve sustained success by optimizing their impact on overall performance. Furthermore, the organization should determine which interested parties or stakeholders are considered relevant to the quality management system. And we do this by identifying an interested party's relevant needs and expectations of the quality management system. We identify any risks to achieving sustained success if these interested parties' needs and expectations are not met. And then we also try to identify opportunities that will enhance sustained success if these interested parties' needs and expectations are met or exceeded. The organization should then determine which relevant needs and expectations should be addressed by the quality management system and establish necessary processes to fulfill these needs and expectations of the relevant interested parties. So if we move from the premise of this Big Q quality management fundamental principle into the formal requirements as seen through the eyes of ISO 9001:2015, we'll note that in clause 4.2, titled Understanding the Needs and Expectations of Interested Parties, it requires that the organization shall determine the interested parties that are relevant to the quality management system, determine the requirement of these interested parties, and monitor and review information about these interested parties and the relevant requirements. Also in clause 4.3, that's titled Determining the Scope of the Quality Management System, the organization shall determine the boundaries and applicability of the QMS and consider external and internal issues determined by clause 4.1 of the QMS and consider the requirements of relevant interested parties as required in clause 4.2. Another requirement has to do with planning of the quality management system in section 6 of the standard, clause 6.1, titled Actions to Address Risks and Opportunities. And it states that when an organization is planning for the quality management system, it shall consider issues as required in clause 4.1 and interested parties requirements as required in 4.2 to determine risks and opportunities that require actions. And the reason why an organization would want to do that is to give assurance that the QMS can achieve intended results, to enhance desirable effects and prevent or reduce undesirable effects, and to achieve improvement. What we're really talking about is through this, we want to establish necessary processes to fulfill the needs and expectations of our relevant interested parties. Next, let's talk about Big Q quality management maturity expectations for relationship management. So a highly mature quality management system and quality culture is a system that has processes for determining which interested parties are relevant to the quality management system, including determining the specific needs and expectations in place. And these processes consider the following: the relevant interested parties that are a risk to sustained success if their needs and expectations are not met, and those interested parties that can provide opportunities for enhanced sustained success. In addition, QMS processes to fulfill the needs and expectations of these relevant interested parties are established, maintained, and continually improved. And lastly, the needs and expectations of all relevant interested parties are addressed, monitored, analyzed, evaluated, and reviewed such that there is improved sustained success, common understanding of objectives and values, enhanced operational stability, and a recognition of relationship management benefits. Next, let's take a look at some Big Q quality management best practices relative to relationship management. The first one we've talked about. We must determine relevant interested parties and we must understand their relationship to the organization. We must determine and prioritize these relationships that need to be managed within the QMS. We want to establish relationships that balance short-term gains with long-term objectives. We want to share knowledge and resources with all our relevant interested parties. And we want to measure performance and provide feedback to interested parties to promote improvement and achieve sustained success. We want to establish collaborative QMS activities. And finally, we want to encourage and recognize improvement and achievements by interested parties. Let's wrap up this Big QU knowledge nugget by talking about some key benefits from highly mature Big Q quality management systems relative to relationship management. The first benefit, of course, is enhanced performance of the organization and of the relevant interested parties. It's a win-win situation. Second, there's a common understanding of objectives and values that creates strategic alignment between the organization and their relevant interested parties. It also increases the capability to create value for relevant interested parties, and it increases levels of employee engagement, which is vital in a successful Big Q quality management system. It also increases the levels of customer satisfaction. And finally, it will provide on-time, on-quality, stable flow of parts and services from a well-managed supply chain. Well, that's going to be a wrap for this Big QU Knowledge Nugget. I hope this edition piqued your interest and intellectual curiosity. Don't hesitate to leave feedback or comments regarding the content of this edition. And if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing and following the Big Q University Quality Management Knowledge Sharing series. I hope you'll plan to join me for a future Big Q Quality Management Knowledge Nugget. But until then, remember, every day is a great day to make things better. See you next time.